You are listening to the global network of podcasters dedicated to the pharmacy profession. Welcome to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
Hey, welcome to This Week in Pharmacy, July 18th, 2025. This is TWIRx. It's going to be a great show today. We are going to be racing into, remember that word, racing into the weekend as we head on out to Las Vegas. We're going to be talking a little bit about our preview at ThoughtSpot 2025 with our partners and sponsors, outcomes. And we have a legendary racer as part of today's show. This is going to be something very unusual for This Week in Pharmacy. This is all coming up. We're so excited to have you here. Thanks for listening. This is TWIRx. Hey there. Welcome to This Week in Pharmacy for July 18th, 2025. I am your host, founder of the Pharmacy Podcast Network, TWIRx. It has been a crazy busy week. We have a lot to go through today. We're going to get started. We're going to start right out with TWIRx news. And there's a lot of news out there. But the most interesting of news I'd like to bring to our This Week in Pharmacy listeners is starting out with some technology news, and that comes from our Acefa, and that's the AI pharmacy pioneer. Acefa raises $4 million in a 5 times oversubscribed seed round, and this is to continue to grow out AI and digital tools to take place of a lot of pharmacy back-end operations. This is exciting news just for the advancement of pharmacy in general, but you can read about this on Business Wire. And once again, just put in AI Pharmacy Pioneer, Acefa, which is ASEPHA, and a very interesting story. And we're going to keep moving on because I do want to get to a sponsor announcement, but that is Bridging Gaps in Access, in Pharmacy Access. This came out on July 14th from Pharmacy Times, and this is by Mike Hennessy Jr. He's the chairman and CEO of MJH Life Sciences. This goes about how pharmacy deserts are disproportionately affecting low-income, older, and minority populations, worsening health disparities, and how innovation solutions like telehealth, mobile units, remote patient monitoring, pharmacy kiosks are going to be essential to delivering care, and how technology is so tied into that. We jump to our next story from the Wall Street Journal. It says Albertsons revenue climbs, that's right, climbs, on pharmacy and digital sales. And that's exciting for me. It says the fiscal first quarter sales rose 2.5% to $24.88 billion, billion with a B. And the reason why that's exciting for me is our sponsor and someone who has done a lot for the Pharmacy Podcast Network. We just got back from McKesson IdeaShare, and we were in partnership with the Independent Pharmacy Cooperative team. They have a whole digital health solution portfolio called iCare Plus, and it is really making waves. We're going to be talking about this during the 3-part show that came from the McKesson IdeaShare. But I just want to bring your attention to a platform that has been designed for digital health delivery, treatment advancement, treatment tracking, telehealth, remote patient monitoring, being able to get paid for services that have nothing to do with just a dispensing fee. And that's the future, really a big part of the future of pharmacy is absolutely those technology tools. IdeaShare 2025 just concluded. Pharmacy Podcast Network was press coverage there, and we were so excited to support IPC in their booth. There will be a 3-part series coming. A shout out to our host, Dr. Adam Robinson. He's the owner of pharmacy in Kentucky, the Save Right Pharmacies. And he covered the RBC in Denver with our partner and our client, Cardinal Health. A shout out to how much you pay attention to independent community pharmacy. It's so important. But you be on the lookout. There's a 3-part series coming, a multi-part series coming. Might actually only be a 2-part series, but multi-part series coming from the Cardinal Health RBC coverage. And that was I've heard from several people that attended it in Denver, exciting time. And all about independent pharmacy survival and thriving independent community pharmacies. Hey, we are covering the ThoughtSpot through our partners, Outcomes, and we're going to be in Outcomes booth for ThoughtSpot coming up this weekend. If you're going to be going, if you're going to be in Las Vegas, please reach out to me, connect with me. You can find all of my information at pharmacypodcast.com or go to my LinkedIn and connect with me. But if you're going to be there, let's talk about outcomes. Let's talk about these powerful connections and the technology that they're bringing to treatment management. This is an exciting company that we're very pleased to be working with in their booth, covering a lot of what's going on at ThoughtSpotting and really concentrating on those digital health tools that we were talking about, that the news was about. When we come back, you've never heard an interview like this, definitely not on the Pharmacy Podcast Network. We're going to be talking to a living legend in racing, and this will be brought to you by Ural Pharma, which is one of our partners that concentrate on many different types of generic substitutions for brand names in multiple sectors. You've heard us talk about pain management and thyroid conditions. And so we're going to be talking on to, once again, a living legend when we return on This Week in Pharmacy. Be sure to stay tuned. And listen, if there's anything that we're missing on This Week in Pharmacy, if there's subjects that you'd like us to be talking about, please reach out to us. Just go to thisweekinpharmacy.com. Once again, that's thisweekinpharmacy.com, or go to the website pharmacypodcast.com and reach out to us on the contact section. Let us know what we're missing. We want to give a shout out to IPC. Thanks for sponsoring this segment of This Week in Pharmacy. And like I said, when we come back, we'll be talking with a living legend in racing. We'll be right back.
This episode is sponsored by Independent Pharmacy Cooperative, widely known as IPC. Established in 1983, IPC is the nation's largest group purchasing organization owned by independent pharmacy. With a mission of maximizing the success of community pharmacists, IPC works to provide members with access to effective programs and services designed to enhance profitability for independent pharmacy. Read more about our mission by checking out our website at ipcrx.com. That's ipcrx.com.
Hey, Florida pharmacists or anyone in the great state of Florida. I'm very jealous, by the way. I'll just stop right here. This is supposed to be an announcement, but I'm jealous. So I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania. We get 78 days of sunshine per year. My entire family, who was raised in Butler County, Pennsylvania, all moved to the Vero Beach area. So I'm very jealous. Shout out to Stacy Hall. You are my Florida Pharmacy Coordination CEO of the FPA hero and fellow podcaster on the Pharmacy Crossroads podcast. A shout out to you all. That's the 135th annual meeting and convention, July 17th through the 20th. It's going to be amazing to have all of you Floridian pharmacists come together. Guess what? I'm on right now with our new host of our PGX focused pharmacy-oriented podcast, Dr. Melissa Smith. I'm excited you're here. And guess what? You're going. I just realized that you're going to this event.
Yes, I'm not only going to this event, I'm actually presenting at this event on 2 continuing educations. So I'm going to be presenting on navigating the new frontier, the breakthrough of medications of 2025. So all of the upcoming or already FDA approved novel drugs that are being introduced. So I'm going to be presenting on quite a few of those from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I'm also going to be talking about the advancements in pharmacotherapy and innovations in delivery systems. There's going to be some really cool information about the different types of delivery systems that are being introduced on the market. So I'm excited to be there and presenting those days. Both presentations are going to be on July 19th. And the second presentation is from 10:15 to 11:45 a.m. So I'm very excited to be able to present to all of my fellow Florida Pharmacist Association members and Florida pharmacists as well.
And also, you're going to be open to giving other people's insights on our profession in pharmacogenomics and the business of pharmacy. When you're at the trade show section, you're going to be available to do some interviews too.
That's right. Yes. I'm going to have a booth available there where I'm going to be doing some interviews with different groups that are attending this convention. So I'm very excited to be able to do that.
Hey, give us a website that we can go to if we're listening right now or we're driving, we want to kind of remember something. Where can we connect with you?
You can go to www.floridapgxconsulting.com. Florida, P as in Paul, G as in go, X as in xylophone, consulting.com.
Excellent. There will be a link in the show notes too. I can't wait to hear the feedback on the conference. Once again, shout out to Stacy and her team. There's a lot of work going on in celebrating the 135th annual meeting for the Florida Pharmacists Association. This is great.
Yes, very excited. And Stacy Hall has been amazing at coordinating and collaborating with me as well. I'm excited to be there.
Well, thank you for your work, Melissa, and we can't wait to hear the content coming from you.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Todd.
As frontline healthcare providers, pharmacists like you understand the importance of personalized care, especially in acute pain management. Ural Pharma is dedicated to providing high-quality, generic products tailored to meet your patient's needs. The company aims to serve a diverse range of patient populations, including athletes recovering from intense training, weekend warriors managing minor injuries, and those seeking a practical and mess-free option for acute pain management. Keep Ural in your toolbox of pain management options and join the ranks of pharmacists leading the way in personalized care. To learn more about Ural Pharma and its products, including full prescribing information, boxed warnings, and important safety information, visit uralpharma.com. That's YARAL pharma.com and connect with them on LinkedIn.
And I don't have to say this to you pharmacists out there. There's so many pharmacists listening that are entrepreneurs. Even if you have a side gig, if you're a hospital system pharmacist or you're working on some technology program. But I'd like to shout out to our independent community pharmacy owners right now who are struggling entrepreneurs. It's ups, it's downs, it's successes, it's losses. Many of what has happened over the last 2 years has been absolutely horrible with PBM reform. The struggles that you have, the closing of many independent community pharmacies, which is horrible. But today's special interview is about that. It's about the struggle as an entrepreneur to fulfill a dream and what your dream is. If your dream is to serve your community as a pharmacist, however you want to do that, hospital systems, specialty, disease state management, women's health, gender treatments for transgender medicine, pain management. If you have a passion, you need to stick with it no matter what. Put your heart into it. Do some extra studying, extra writing, podcasting. Come on our show and talk about what you'd like to do as an entrepreneur. But this is a special shout out to our independent community pharmacists out there and pharmacy owners who have the scars, the business scars to show what it is to struggle, what it is to build a business and to have payroll and to have insurance and employees and all of the stresses of running a business. And today's interview with Charles Hoops is exactly that. He is an entrepreneur, just like you as a pharmacy owner, and he is passionate about racing, and he took a gamble on himself. And I want you to listen to this interview. You're really going to enjoy this. Hey, special segment on This Week in Pharmacy. This is actually a first for us at TWIRx. And it's interesting to hear how many times we'll run into a client, a story. We just got back from the Idea Share, McKesson's Idea Share. The stories that come out of that come out from the communities, come out from people that are doing some interesting things. We've met with people in artificial intelligence and inventing a bridge that's going to go over a moving water, and the bridge actually moves slightly with the water, and the engineering that went into that. So today's special because we're going to be talking about racing of all things. And I know that's probably something that you don't hear a lot in the pharmacy land per se, but this organization and these people are near and dear to our hearts, and that is Ural Pharma. And that organization's our client. They're involved in a special race this weekend. And I'd like to welcome back to TWIRx. He's no stranger to TWIRx, and that's Mr. Stephen Beckman.
Well, good morning, Todd. It's always a pleasure to see you. It's smiling as usual, and once again having the opportunity to do something different. That's kind of the motto that Ural has now really embraced as an organization, and I think this little segment here will express exactly that we're trying to do things different as a generic pharmaceutical organization. But ultimately, the goal of any good pharmaceutical organization is the product portfolio that we have is there to serve the better outcome for patients. And I think this story and this partnership and sponsorship that we're doing with Charles Hoops and his race organization will be a great example of that.
Let's welcome to the studios, Mr. Charles Hoops. Welcome to TWIRx.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here.
Well, I guess by way of background, I have to say that not only is Charles an amazing drag racer, he's also an amazing person, an amazing friend, and I've had the opportunity to know Charles for many years, and we had the great opportunity to connect this year and sponsor what he does on the weekends, a passion that he's had his entire life. And an amazing story about how things have unfolded for him as a race car driver. And so, Charles, maybe we could start with that and just share a little bit about your background in racing and kind of how S&H Motorsports came together in a very unique and special, fortuitous way, if you will.
Probably my mainstream entry into drag racing started in the late 70s and very early 80s. I worked for a guy who had a funny car, which is a car that'll do, at that time, a quarter mile in about 6 seconds. Nowadays, they're very much quicker and faster. But we also did auto body. So we ended up painting and doing a lot of the local race cars that were around here. And then through that guy, I was introduced to another guy who had a nitro funny car, which runs 5 seconds in a quarter mile. And I went to work with him for probably close to 5 years. And then myself and one of the crew guys, we had the opportunity to purchase a alcohol funny car from a guy that we knew local. So we bought that, ran that for about 2 years. Then we both realized that neither one of us could afford to put the really good parts in this thing. And that's not the kind of vehicle you want to run with parts that are substandard, I would say. So we ended up selling it. Got out of it altogether. My other passion was photography. I shot a lot of drag racing and everything. So I went back to photography and started going to the races and just shooting pictures and stuff. And I was at a track called Maple Grove and taking pictures up there. And I took a picture of this front engine dragster coming through the finish line. and posted them, I think, just on Facebook or something like that. And I got contacted by the owner of the car, and he wanted to purchase the pictures. So I was like, okay. So I met with him here in my local town of Westchester, PA, to find out that he was a retired children's orthopedic surgeon. And so I brought some of the pictures with him, and we talked for probably an hour about my background, my racing background, what I did and everything. And then he took me out to the garage and showed me the car and had me sit in it, which I later found out that it was more of a test to see if I could fit in the car.
Yeah, it was like on the first date, and bringing the girlfriend to check you out to make sure you're a good guy.
Well, he's had other people come over, and it's not the easiest machine to try to get in. And but I was able to pop right in the thing. So then he, excuse me. So then he said he wanted some more photographs. So I told him I'll go run back out to my printer, have some made up, and I'll be right back. So I came back, and he brought me in, sat me down, and here's now where everything just went to the twilight zone. First, he asked me how I liked the car. And I said, oh, I love the car. And she said, no, how do you like the car? Would you like the car? I started laughing. I said, well, it depends on how much it is. And at that time, I really had no intentions of getting back into, drag racing per se. And so I said, laughingly or jokingly, it depends on how much it is. And it ended up being that he wanted to give me the car. He's an older gentleman, about ready to sell his home and move into an assisted living. And his family wanted nothing to do with drag racing stuff. So he knew that once he left, that car was just going to get put online, sold to somebody, God knows where it would end up. And he really wanted somebody who had a drag racing background, loved drag racing, and would take the car and continue running it as he was doing. And
what was going through your mind, Charles, as he's starting to unfold this magical surprise? Were you like, this can't be real? What?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm thinking, he's an older guy. He might be a little crazy. I don't know. I told him, I said, well, think about it. And actually, when I left his house, I actually called you, Stephen, and told you that I said, there's no way in the world I can go home and tell my wife anything, because I could come back in a month and this guy's, I never said that, or, I've changed my mind. So I just let everything sit, didn't tell anybody but you, Stephen. And then I figured I'd come back in a month and just check in with him. And he was still gung-ho. I want you to have the car. So we actually left and went up to the lawyer's office, signed everything over. But then he also had this old beaten up Chevy Trailblazer, I think it was, and then an open trailer to haul the car around in. Well, with all the electronics and everything that are on the car, if you're in that morning and you're supposed to race that afternoon and you hear a weather forecast of maybe 60% chance of showers in the afternoon, we couldn't go because we can't have the car sitting back there getting rained on. So the first year running, we missed a lot of races because of the chances of rain, which most of them ended up, it never rained. So I told him, I said, we missed out on a lot of stuff. We need an enclosed trailer. And he agreed. He loves going to the track. So he went out and we found a 2-year-old trailer, enclosed trailer, that had only had 500 miles on it. A guy had bought this trailer. He bought 2 of those new Wildcat Chargers or whatever that came out, and he only wanted the trailer to transport his cars back home. So now he's got the car at home and he doesn't want the trailer. So he ended up being somebody that Lucian, who was the owner of the car, he knew him. And so we got a great deal on the trailer. And so we went right up to like a Wiggins kind of place to change everything over. And so we bought the trailer, put that in my name. So now I got a race car and a trailer. But at the same time, through my business, I do masonry work, and I had a real big red dump truck that at the time I was using to haul the trailer and car around there. Well, for tracks that are close by, he could get up in it, but he didn't like the ride of that thing. So he said, we've got to get something else. So we went to another friend of his that has a car dealership and repair place nearby. And we went in there and we went through several pickup trucks and everything, but all the new pickup trucks, it's like you're sitting in the space shuttle. There's buttons and dials. And I told him, I said, there's more stuff in here than we need. You just need something simple. So we went and we found the Tahoe, this nice Tahoe that they had. So he said, well, let's get it. I was like, all right. So he pulls the checkbook out and buys the Tahoe. And that was now in my name. So basically the entire racing operation is all in my name. And it was just, the entire story is just totally unbelievable how it all just came together and fell in my lap. But yeah, for like the first month after he asked if I wanted the car, I couldn't tell anybody because I'm like, I don't know if this guy is serious or is he insane or what.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've known you for a long time, and I've watched. You're one of the most creative people and dedicated people I've ever met, and it would always show through all the photography that we've had the opportunity to do together. But the passion and commitment that you have shown over the last 3 years, starting with all that fortuitous luck or meant to be scenario, you have now blossomed from getting back into it to getting, I guess it's certification to drive.
Yep, you have to have a license, special license.
And I'm going to steal a little bit your thunder because in just the last couple of weeks, in your third season of racing, you have been in 3 finals and won 2 of them. So you have gone from
Let me change that. 4 finals. We're in 4 finals in a row right now.
4 finals in a row and won 2. And I'm sure next week when we're all together back at Maple Grove where it all started, and we have this great sponsor event, we'll see a 5th and a 3rd. So talk to me a little bit about just what about racing gets you that excited. I mean, I've known you for a long time and I've seen you smile a lot, but I've never seen you smile quite as much as when you're able to work on that car and drive that car.
Probably the noise, the excitement. I mean, back when I was a little kid and my brother used to take me to the track, it was the noise, the smoke, the burnouts, the big smoky burnouts and all this stuff. And it was something totally different. And I really enjoyed it. But then, as you grow older, and especially since this car came along, it's fun. The first year was not fun because there was so much old stuff on the car that I had to change, and it gave us a lot of problems. But once I got it figured out, got all the new parts on it, the car really started to come around. This year, I actually now have full-time crew chief who makes all the decisions on the car, and it has responded incredibly this year. Like I just said earlier, once we put the motor back in it this spring, and the first 4 races we went to, we were in the final, and I took 2 of the wins. Actually, I should have had the 3rd one, but I red lighted in the final, which means I left way too early. But that's okay. But I tell everybody, because I get a lot of people that ask me, what's it like to drive this car? It is very smooth. A lot of people think there's a lot of vibrations and everything. It is very smooth. You basically have 2 big, gigantic black marshmallows right alongside you that absorb a lot of the stuff. But I do tell them there are 3 phases to a run. I said, there's the fun part, then there's the exciting part, and then it gets boring. And they're like, boring? What, what do you mean? And I said, well, the fun part is doing the burnout. Everybody loves to do a burnout. You sit there, you floor it, you're smoking the tires and makes a lot of noise. Then you back up and then you stage the car. And once the car launches, that's the exciting part because it actually lays you back in the seat and things are now starting to fly past you. So you start to get a sense of speed. But then after maybe 60 to 100 feet, then it gets boring because you're just holding on to the car and you're staring at the finish line. And
well, hopefully you do keep it straight because holding on is a good thing if you keep it straight, though.
Yeah, but that car really doesn't want to wander. And it does. I mean, it goes straight as an arrow. But you're staring at the finish line and it's just, you're hanging on. You're waiting for the finish line to show up. So there's not a whole lot going on. The only difference is if your competitor is right alongside you and you can see them. And that returns it from boring back to exciting because you now know, okay, there's my competitor over there. And you're staring at his front wheel, gauging either who's in front, who's in back. And after a while, you just start gripping the wheel harder, and you're like, come on.
Right there. And if I'm not mistaken, the race that you were in the final and didn't win, you lost by a mere 400ths of a second.
400ths of a second.
So there
yes.
you go. That is just amazing. So, Charles, obviously, one of the things that your route wanted to sponsor you this year is because what you just articulated was such an authentic story, something that's a little bit out of the fiction, if you will, that, the gentleman taps you on the shoulder, so to speak. And the next thing you know, you're living a lifelong dream of driving your own race car and now owning your own race car, which is an amazing story. And, I think that's what and why we really want to sponsor. There's a lot of companies that sponsor a lot of things and a lot of people, but we're doing it, I think, at the grassroots level, something that's truly authentic. And I think the second part of the story really is that you're not 24 anymore, right? I can vouch for that. You're not 34. So
no, those years are way back there.
Yeah, well, for me too. But the point is that with all the fun and enthusiasm and all the dynamic of working on the engine, working on the car, learning how to drive the car, managing each individual track that you race because everything's slightly different, it is still a tough sport. I mean, you're sitting in the car for long periods of time. You're bouncing around a little bit. It's not like you're sitting in a big cushy truck, as you said. So how do you feel at the end of the race?
Beaten up. Actually, yes, it was yesterday. It was Monday. We raced Saturday and Sunday this past weekend. And the track that we were at on Sunday, a little rough around the edges, but it was fun. But the return road, after you finish your run and your return road, it's all paved, but it's been patched and everything else. And we're in a car that has absolutely no suspension in it. It's a solid rear, and I'm sitting right on top of it. So you feel everything when it's bumpy. On the track, because the tracks are nice and smooth, you don't feel any of that. But when you get done your race and you're coming back to your trailer, you feel everything. And I had made thin padding to put on the aluminum seat. And after that thing on Sunday, I was like, I got to change the padding in the back of this thing for my back. So I ran around yesterday looking for foam kneeling boards for like gardening and stuff like that. So I found one of them, recut it, and I'm going to put that in the car to give me a little bit more on my back. But yeah, I got out of that car. Back was killing me. And then you still got to put everything away. You got to load the trailer all up. So it's a lot. And if you walk around a racetrack I'd say most of the people out there are my age or pretty darn close to it. And we're all beaten up. I mean, you're working on the car all week. You're kneeling, especially with our car because it's so low. You're kneeling all the time, climbing in and out of it. And there's not a lot of room in there. So you do bang your knee up against stuff and everything like that. So, yeah, you get beaten up.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, given your DIY background, one of the most creative people I've ever met, both in your professional business and the tools that you make, to what you've done in photography, to this, that you found your own pathway to create the cushioning that you need. So when you're dealing with some of those bumps and bruises, how do you usually manage that?
Yeah, this past weekend, I was so beaten up when I got up Monday morning, I couldn't go to work because I was just so sore and tired. So it is nice to have an option of like a pain patch or something like that to derive, put where it needs to be rather than take a pill, which is going all over the place. So yeah, it is nice to have an option other than all the normal crap that you can get that most of the time doesn't work. So it is nice. But yeah, we all need it. Like I said, we're all pretty beaten up after a race. And then you have to get it ready again because you don't just let it sit there until the next weekend. So again, Monday morning rolls along and you got to get back and get the car ready for the following weekend. So it's a lot. But yeah, it's nice to have some really good pain management.
Well, it has been a pleasure, Charles, to have a chance to talk with you today. On behalf of your Ralph Farmer, we are very excited for being a part of your journeys this year and being a sponsor. We are excited with all the success you've had so far this year. We're looking very forward to coming to Maple Grove this Saturday, July 19th. For Sponsor Day and really being there to back you. It's great to hear the true journey that you've gone through from, as I said, tapped on the shoulder to working through the car, making it better, getting a crew, getting your license and certification, going from learning how to drive to learning how to win. Everything you've done and all the bumps and bruises are surely worth it at the end of the day. When you get to stand in that winner's circle or just enjoy a Saturday doing something that is so passionate, that you're so passionate about. And, we are always trying to do our best as an organization to bring products together and make them available to patients for when they need them for the right reason. And you definitely put yourself into a little pain management with all the bouncing and bruises you get. So we couldn't think of a more iconic or more representative situation when somebody needs site-specific pain management. So, Charles, we look forward to seeing you on Friday or Saturday, and we're looking forward to hopefully standing side by side with you in the winner's circle at the end of the day.
Absolutely. We were going for the 3 straight. I won 2 straight, and Sunday was the race I needed to have 3 straight wins, and but I lost that one in the final. That was the one with 0.04 of a second between us. But yeah, I'm ready to go. Maple Grove is my home track. We know that place very well, and I know all the competitors now. And actually, I'm starting to get some vibe from the rest of the drivers that they're watching out for us now. Several years ago, when everything was, still kind of up in the air about how to get this car to run, but now they realize now that, especially after 4 straight finals, we're there.
Yeah, they got a serious competitor.
They got to deal with us. Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure you get lots of rest this week in between your day job, and make sure you're ready to go, because we'll be ready there to support you. So have a great week, and we'll see you on Saturday.
All right. Thanks for having me, and thanks for coming on board with us this year.
we're back with This Week in Pharmacy with a special guest who we just decided to do this week because this is important stuff for our pharmacy profession. I'm thinking of our independent community pharmacists, but also our health systems and our specialty pharmacies and really the entire marketplace. But I'd like to introduce Jeff Rackliff, Jr. He's the market analyst at RXinsider. And I'm sure you guys know what RXinsider is, but if you do not know what RXinsider is, it's a publication that's been out for over 15, 20 years, and they really drive understanding the business of pharmacy, what's available to our pharmacy operators. I love this organization. I love the fact that it was started by a pharmacist. His heart's in it. But I wanted to welcome Jeff to the show, and I got some questions for you, Jeff. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready. Thanks so much for having me on the show today, Todd.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
My first question is, are you a New England's Patriot fan?
Yes. Wholeheartedly, yes. Absolutely.
All right. Well,
all New England sports.
our accent colors. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put on my accent color right now, and that's the gold for black and gold. So we're all Steelers up in here in this studio. If you're watching, you'll see the lights turn to gold. But if you're listening, Jeff is a New Englander. I went up to Rhode Island. I got to see the headquarters of RXinsiders. You guys have an amazing team. I got to spend time with several of your people, and something that was really interested me is how RXinsider is getting into something called Intel Reports, which is going to bring weekly updated data to the industry. I mean, that as a news organization, a publication, I want that data. So that's kind of selfishly why you're here today too. But give our listeners a little bit, give them background on what are these Intel Reports.
Yeah, definitely. So our Intel team here at RXinsider is a pretty new team focused on the pharmacy supply chain. So like you said, those Intel reports are a big part of what we do, but we also be releasing weekly reports reporting on the news that pertains to the pharmacy supply chain, whether it be mergers and acquisitions, new leadership, new products released. We want to make sure we can educate our audience on what's new in the market. Additionally, we'll also be releasing soon our Pharmacy 500 Academy that does a deep dive into what the pharmacy supply chain is and everything that makes that up. And of course, our weekly Intel reports. We release weekly reports that are about different segments of that supply chain. So it can go from talking one week about automated dispensing cabinets to unit dose packaging automation to private and public company teardowns for companies that make up the market. So they try to encompass this entire industry that we're in. And we have a really exciting one that we just released earlier in June, our careers outlook report.
Now that is timely, Jeff, and we know that our industry, our profession is struggling a little bit. We're kind of going through an identity crisis, but we're coming out of it. We're going to be stronger than ever when CMS and PBM reform and everything kind of aligns. But people like you and I and people in publication and in content development, we can't wait for the world to be perfect, nor will it ever be perfect. But something that's important is the careers of our pharmacists and how pharmacists will want to understand in now in a crisis, obviously, because of some of the chains going out of business, some of the chains struggling and closing stores. There's going to be pharmacists out there who are going to want to make switches and changes. So talk to us about what listeners, if they go to the website, which we'll have you give us a link later, but tell us what they're going to be able to find within the careers report data.
Yeah, definitely. So this year we launched the Pharmacy 500 Career Center. So that is our new career center that's on our site, kind of evolved from the old career center that we used to have, if you're familiar with the jobs we used to have in RXinsider. But this job board is really designed to connect talent with leading employers within the pharmacy supply chain. So like you said, pharmacy and clinical jobs are a big part of this, but it's not the only focus. It's not just for pharmacists. It's really for the entire industry that that we exist in. I'm not a pharmacist myself, but this is something else that is really meant for people like me. I help serve the industry of pharmacy. So if you scroll through here, looking at the page right here, you can see we have all sorts of jobs. We have about 1,500 jobs for manager and operation roles, about 300 jobs in sales, some marketing jobs, software jobs. And this is really based around kind of the Pharmacy 500, those top 500 businesses that directly support dispensing pharmacy. But it's beyond that as well. So if you're a company that is hiring and looking for positions, this is definitely the place to go and create a job post, create a careers page.
This is so cool. I love it. It's down. It's what we need. It's down into the data. There's multiple parts of it. I like the fact that there's clinical manager jobs, sales executive jobs. If you are listening right now, you're driving, you're jogging, you're doing something, you can't see your screen, I don't want you to worry about it. I do want you to go to careercenter.RXinsider.com. Once again, that's careercenter.RXinsider.com. I'm going to have a link to that in our show notes too. So if you get back to your iPhone or your device or your desktop, you'll be able to find it. You'll be able to reach out to the Pharmacy 500 Career Center, engage. And now, does a candidate who's looking for a position, Jeff, do they have an opportunity to like upload their resume, or how is this happening?
Yeah, great question. So a candidate that is looking for jobs, maybe they've been in the industry before, they can go to this career center and they'll see the ability to kind of drill down the type of role they're looking for, kind of the categories that we mentioned before, but also, full-time, part-time, different areas of the country, whatever you're kind of looking for as a job seeker, you can look for all those important things. You can upload your resume, and oftentimes we can redirect you directly to the company's internal careers page to submit that resume. But it's very, very simple as a job seeker to go in and start applying to some of these open roles.
I've been around for 20 plus years in the pharmacy profession, and we didn't have this. I don't want to sound like an old geezer. We never had this in my day, but we literally didn't. So I would have very much appreciated this, but I'm thinking of our independent community pharmacies who are now expanding, and many of them are expanding because they know that they're filling in for some of the Walgreens closings or the CVS closings or the bankruptcy of Rite Aid. And so they're like, okay, where am I going to build my next pharmacy? And therefore, where am I going to find my next pharmacist that may be within that community? And so this is important stuff. I'm excited that you guys are doing this. I can't wait to talk to you more about the Intel reports, because I'd like to get into the different types of research and analysis and data that you're going to be. Can you give our listeners just a little bit more on what type of intelligence, market intelligence, that RXinsider will be delivering?
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll vary week to week. Every week we release the weekly reports in our weekly dose newsletter. So I encourage all your listeners to make sure you subscribe to our weekly dose newsletter, where you'll get delivered in your inbox every Tuesday, kind of the news of the week, as well as our new Intel reports. So those can vary. Those can be kind of specialized, like this careers report we just released, which kind of gives a data breakdown on the current jobs, the company breakdown, the different parts of the industry. But we also will have the different supply chain categories within the pharmacy industry. So we've narrowed the market down to about 88 supply chain categories, and we'll highlight one of those each week. Talk about the companies that service that part of the industry, the products and services that are available, the locations, the number of employees, pretty much every data metric that you've never even thought about to think about for these reports. We'll be able to publish on that. And we'll also have some company breakdowns for some of the private and public companies, the major companies that are the pillars of the industry. Cardinal, McKesson, Cencora. We have big reports doing breakdowns on those. My next report is a breakdown on the company outcomes, which I'm really excited about, which we'll be releasing in a couple weeks. So there's really a lot of variety, and you'll be able to learn something new every week with one of these reports.
Yeah, just to give the listeners just some basics on this, there's the Intel product suite. If you go to the RXinsider.com market intelligence reports section, and within the suite, you'll see the weekly newsletter that Jeff recommended subscribing to. So definitely do that. And then the weekly market reports, the online learning, the career center. It's a full portfolio suite of information that's really necessary at a time in pharmacy where things are in a great amount of flux and change. It's not the pharmacy that I entered into 20 years ago. It's much different. So this kind of data is important, Jeff. I'm impressed with this, and I appreciate you guys are stepping up and you're doing this.
I'm really excited about it as well. I'm fairly, I've only been in the industry myself, the pharmacy industry, for a few years now, but I just know that coming in, if this had been available to me, it even would have been able to jumpstart me into the industry as an outsider even faster, just with the amount of information that we're providing for pharmacy leadership professionals, all stakeholders within the pharmacy industry and the supply chain industry. We really want to make sure we can educate and nourish this market so that it can stay strong for the years to come.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on This Week in Pharmacy. Like I said, this is not going to be your last time. We're going to have you back and dig into some of these reports. What are you doing this weekend? Any plans for the weekend?
Plans this weekend? Well, we got a big heat wave coming here in Rhode Island. So we're gearing up for that, hopefully going to the beach, and then just counting down the days until football season and go to a few Patriot games.
Yeah, when the Steelers beat the Patriots again, right?
We'll see about that.
I'm scared about the Steelers this year, but I'm going to be in Vegas. So if you're in Vegas this weekend to be part of ThoughtSpot 2025, we're going to be in the Outcomes booth. That's a technology platform. They're actually listed through RxInsider's Platinum pages. Excited to be there because they're concentrating on treatment programs that pharmacists embed into, and they put their intelligence into, and it's a tracking system as well as getting paid for those services. So this will be a fun event to be at. I love being around independent community pharmacies, but I hope you have a weekend. I mean, I'm going to work through the weekend, but it's still fun.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll be a great time.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone, to this segment of This Week in Pharmacy. We're going to take a short break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we're back carrying on with the rest of the week, This Week in Pharmacy. I do want to give some shout outs and some mentions. Thank you so much to Ryan Paul Liebenau, who was a guest on last TWIRx. He was talking about the pharmacy care and one big beautiful bill. Take a listen to that. There's some really insightful understandings of what it means to be a provider embedded in something that can be looked at with such controversy, which is the one big beautiful bill. Anything but beautiful. It should be called the one big confusing bill because we don't know what's going to actually come of it. But take a listen to that. Regardless of politics, it's a great listen for both sides. And I like that on TWIRx. I like that on This Week in Pharmacy, and I like that on Pharmacy Podcast Network, that we have so much diversity here in content and also views. We have RX Genius, who talks about investing in equity. What does that mean for healthcare? We have a special 3-part series that's out from RX Safe, and it's all about growing your long-term care at home business. Please be on the watch out. We're going to be releasing all 3 of those parts. Thank you so much for RX Safe Icon for sponsoring that. Someone who is an avid podcaster, and she's doing an amazing job, is Dr. Marina Buskov, who runs the Holistic Pharmacy podcast. If you really want to hear the latest on integrative integrative medicine, integrative discussions in pharmacy specifically, take a listen to the Holistic Pharmacy podcast, one of our most popular shows right now on the network. I also want to give a shout out to Danielle Plummer. Dr. Plummer is advancing maternal care, and Maternal RX is a special show that we're supporting on the Pharmacy Podcast Network. And a shout out to pharmacists who specialize in women's health and maternal health. We invite you to come and talk about advancements in treatment and things that you know, being a pharmacist and being there for your patients in the world of maternal health. Please reach out to us. We also are excited about the executive dose, continuing to push insights from the pharmaceuticals perspective, the pharmaceutical CEOs and C-levels perspective. I really have always been curious why we don't hear more from pharmaceutical manufacturers. Well, we now have a podcast that's dedicated to exactly that. That's the executive dose. If you haven't listened to the executive dose, please take a listen. You will be very surprised at what you hear on that show. Hey, Life in the Tax Lane. I love this show. I love the content. Master the Margin from the Sykes family, Sykes in Accounting, Sykes Company. They are amazing. They're part of several of our upcoming post shows from our conferences. We got to interview Olin Sykes at the Idea Share, at McKesson Idea Share, and then be on the lookout for an interview with another one of their team members coming out of the ThoughtSpot coverage. We're excited. Also, shout out to Jenna Quinn, just resetting what it means to be a pharmacist in pediatrics and leading pediatrics and contracting with health plans directly. I mean, that's a pharmacist's dream, to do what you're passionate about. Jenna's passionate about taking care of our babies, and to be able to build a business around that and be able to be fruitful and profitable through that. That needs to be a heads up to you pharmacists listening out there. A shout out to our Rite Aid pharmacists. You have been champions of your community, and now your company has imploded, and your course and your path may be a foggy one. Reach out to the Pharmacy Podcast Network and network with us. That's the most important part of what we've put together. It's not about podcasting. This is about networking. This is about supporting our pharmacy profession. And I've been doing it for 16 years, nothing but content about our profession, for our pharmacists, for our pharmacy leaders, for our pharmacy owners. And I have so many connections that I want you to have. That's what this is about. This is not about podcasting. It's not about me. It's about actually you as the pharmacy professional, you as the pharmacist. If you're struggling, you're looking for a position, reach out to me. We have a huge network, and we'd like to make that available to you. Also, a shout out to APCI. They're commanding now the PBM Reform podcast. We saw them at the McKesson Idea Share, and you'll be on the lookout for an amazing interview with Greg Reibold, who's the new host of the PBM Reform podcast. And then finally, I do want to give a shout out to Surecost. They have a podcast called Surecast. And Calvin Hunsinger and Josh Miller got to talk to us about how a technology platform that dials into extra analytics around your claims and around your inventory, how does that make a purchasing advantage for you? How does that increase your revenue? Don't miss the first of the Surecasts. Many more to come from that team at Surecost. And thank you for being a sponsor for the inaugural event, the Insights event for Surecost. It's the first one that we're going to be a part of. And then thanks for just supporting the Pharmacy Podcast Network with some amazing content and continuing to push content for this 3-part series. I want to just give a shout out to my favorite providers, our pharmacists out there. I want to encourage you today, Friday, January 18th, to concentrate on what you're doing, make it better. If you feel stuck, do not stay stuck. Start making moves right now to do something else that's going to bring you joy, and to get back to practicing as a pharmacist, whether that be creatively outside of direct pharmacy to patient interaction. Maybe it's technology, maybe it's company development. Maybe you become a chief medical officer for a small startup. We have a network that has been around for 16 years, pumping out content for the pharmacy profession. And I just want to say how proud I am of our pharmacists and pharmacy owners, as well as how this network has blossomed and grown because of you, because of our listeners. If I didn't get feedback like I get from you, giving me testimony of how podcasts have brought news to your car when you're traveling, or to your jog in the morning when you're exercising, or doing something that you're listening to a network that puts content out every single day, new episodes, 5 to 6 days a week. And then, of course, This Week in Pharmacy. We try to do this every week. Sometimes we miss times with conference season. But conference season's happening right now, and we're in the thick of it. So once again, if you're in Las Vegas, I want you to look me up. My phone number is always available to you. My mobile is 412-585-2251. That's 412-585-2251. If you're in Vegas, text me. Let me know that you're there. I would love to say hi to you. Love to possibly even get an interview with you. How are you changing our profession? Are you expecting the profession to just change on its own? How do you expect the profession to get better? How do you expect pharmacists to get reimbursed? How do you expect pharmacists to get paid for as providers and provider status? And if the answer is you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the NCPA to do it, or the APHA to do it, or your state pharmacists association to do it, or Buddy Carter or Diane Hirschberger, who are both pharmacists who are in Congress, if you're waiting for them to do it, you will be waiting for the rest of your career, and you will be filled with regret. And don't let that happen. If you want change to happen and you don't know what to do, reach out to me. Call me on my mobile phone. Let's have a conversation of how you can help change the profession. But if you want specific ideas, if you have specific ideas, I'm going to connect you with some champions out there who are truly making changes to our profession. And they're not waiting for permission. They're not waiting for PBM reform. They're doing it ahead of anything and everything else. And it's all about their patients. It's all about serving as PharmDs and as pharmacists. And there's career paths that are traditional, untraditional, and we have inside scoops on all of that. You're listening to This Week in Pharmacy. You're listening to the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I wish you an amazing week. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Try to get some rest. We'll be back next week on This Week in Pharmacy, and thank you so much for listening.